The boardroom door slams open. Rain hammers against floor-to-ceiling windows 40 stories above the city. Maren Kessler stands in the doorway, white-gloved hands steady despite the tremor running through her chest. Every eye in the room turns toward her. Men in tailored suits, leather briefcases open on polished mahogany, contracts spread like weapons across the table. Cashin Rourke's voice cuts through the silence like a blade. "What the hell are you doing?" His neck tattoos flex as he rises from his chair. The ink crawls just above his collar, dark patterns that whisper about a past he buried under expensive fabric and colder stares. His jaw tightens. His eyes narrow. This woman, his driver, his employee, someone he mocked 3 hours ago, just walked into a $2.4 billion negotiation without permission. Maren doesn't flinch. She takes one step forward. Her black uniform is pressed sharp enough to cut glass. The peaked cap casts a shadow over her eyes, but Cashin can see something burning there. Something he didn't notice when she picked him up this morning in the rain-soaked parking garage. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The foreign executives exchange glances. One of them, a man with silver-streaked hair and a smile that never reaches his eyes, leans back in his chair. He says something in rapid-fire dialect. The words twist and curl like smoke, a language Cashin doesn't recognize. The other executives laugh. Soft, knowing laughter that makes Cashin's fingers curl into fists. Maren's phone buzzes in her pocket. Once, twice. She doesn't reach for it. The hospital can wait 30 more seconds. "Mr. Rourke," she says quietly. Her voice carries across the room despite its softness. "They're lying to you." The silver-haired executive stops laughing. Cashin's breath catches in his throat. "Excuse me?" "The asset list they gave you," Maren continues, her accent shifting slightly. A hint of something European, something educated, something that doesn't match the uniform or the silence she's maintained for 2 weeks. "It's fraudulent. They swapped the high-value subsidiaries with debt-ridden shells." Page 7, subsection C. The transfer clause defaults in 90 days. The room goes cold. One executive reaches for his briefcase. Another stands abruptly, chair scraping against marble floor. The silver-haired man's smile vanishes completely. He barks something in another language, harsher this time, meant to intimidate. Maren answers him in the same tone. Cashin's world tilts sideways. His driver, the single mom he insulted this morning, the woman he told to try not to embarrass the company, the person he dismissed as temporary help, just spoke 5 sentences in a language he's never heard outside diplomatic channels. Her pronunciation is flawless. Her tone is surgical. The executive's face drains of color. "Who are you?" Cashin whispers. Maren doesn't look at him. She keeps her eyes locked on the man across the table. "I grew up between embassies. My mother was a translator for humanitarian negotiations. I speak 7 languages, Mr. Rourke. 8 if you count patience." The silver-haired man slams his palm on the table. "You have no authority here." "I have recordings," Maren says calmly. She doesn't, but they don't know that. The lie hangs in the air like smoke. Thunder rolls outside. Rain streaks down the windows in patterns that look like tears. Cashin stares at Maren like he's seeing a ghost, or maybe a guardian angel dressed in a chauffeur's uniform. His phone vibrates. A text from his security director. "Where's the translator? Deal's about to close." Cashin looks at the contracts spread across the table, at the executives who suddenly won't meet his eyes, at the woman standing between him and financial ruin. "Get out," he tells the executives. "What?" The silver-haired man stands fully now, fury twisting his features. "We have an agreement. We have fraud," Cashin corrects. His voice drops to the register that makes grown men nervous, the tone that built empires and buried enemies. "You have 60 seconds to leave this building before I call federal regulators." 59, 58. The executives scramble. Papers rustle. Briefcases snap shut. They file out like soldiers retreating from a battlefield they thought they'd already won. The door closes. Silence fills the room. Thick, heavy, charged with something Cashin can't name. He turns slowly toward Marin. She's gripping her phone now, knuckles white beneath the gloves. Her breath comes slightly faster than before. "You just saved me billions," Cashin says. "I just kept my job," Marin corrects. "Why didn't you tell me you could? You never asked." Her phone buzzes again. Insistent now. "Biljon, you called me kindergarten-level chatter this morning. You told me not to exist unless you needed me. So I didn't exist until you needed me." Cashin's throat tightens. Shame tastes like copper on his tongue. "Who's calling you?" he asks. Marin's jaw trembles. Just once. Just enough for him to see the crack in her armor. "St. Mary's Hospital. Pediatric Cardiac Unit. My son has a consultation in 40 minutes. His heart condition." Her voice breaks. She swallows hard. "I need to go." The words hit Cashin harder than any threat he's ever received. This woman, this brilliant, multilingual, fierce woman, has been fighting battles he never bothered to see. While he complained about traffic and mocked her uniform, she was scheduling surgery consultations and translating foreign contracts in her head. "I'll drive you," he says. "Mr. Rourke, I'm the driver." "Not today." He grabs his coat from a chair. "Today you're the woman who saved my empire, and I'm the man who's going to make sure you get to your son." Marin stares at him. For the first time since she walked through that door, uncertainty crosses her face. Her phone buzzes a third time. "Marin," Cashin says quietly, "don't you dare step out of this room alone." She already has one foot toward the hallway when the elevator at the end of the corridor dings open, and a man in a dark suit steps out, eyes locked directly on her. What would you do if someone you underestimated turned out to be your only chance at survival? Drop a comment below. The man in the dark suit doesn't belong here. Cashin knows every face in this building, every security guard, every executive assistant, every courier who delivers contracts at 3 a.m. This man is none of those. He's tall, broad-shouldered, wearing sunglasses indoors despite the storm outside. His hand rests inside his jacket pocket in a way that makes Cashin's instincts scream danger. Marin freezes in the hallway. "Mr. Rourke." The man's voice carries an accent, Eastern European, maybe Russian. "We need to discuss terms." "We don't have terms," Cashin says flatly. He positions himself between the stranger and Marin. Old habits from his family's darker years surface like muscle memory. "Who sent you?" The man smiles. It's the kind of smile that promises consequences. "The gentleman you just insulted. They want to renegotiate. Tell them to negotiate with federal investigators. Your driver made serious accusations." The man's gaze shifts to Marin. Very serious. Perhaps she misunderstood what she heard. Language barriers can be. "I didn't misunderstand anything," Marin cuts in. Her voice stays level, but Cashin hears the steel underneath. "I understood perfectly, in 5 languages." The man's smile falters. Cashin's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen. His security director, translator, just landed. "Do you still need her?" 3 hours too late. His backup translator got detained at airport security. Convenient timing that suddenly feels less like bad luck and more like sabotage. Someone wanted him walking into that negotiation blind. Someone wanted him dependent on contracts he couldn't fully understand. They just didn't count on Marin. "My son is waiting," Marin says quietly. She tries to step around Cashin, but he blocks her path. "You're not going anywhere alone," he tells her. "Mr. Rourke, I appreciate." "This isn't appreciation." His voice drops lower. "This is protection. Those men lost billions because of what you did in that room. You think they'll just walk away?" Marin's face pales slightly. Her phone buzzes again, 4th time in 3 minutes. The hospital isn't giving up. Neither is the man in the dark suit. "Perhaps we can all discuss this calmly," the stranger suggests. He takes one step closer. "Over coffee. Downstairs. Just a conversation." Cashin knows that particular invitation. It's the same one his father used to extend to business partners before they disappeared for weeks. Coffee means leverage. Conversation means extraction. Downstairs means somewhere without cameras. "Get out," Cashin says. "I don't think you understand the situation." "I understand perfectly." Cashin pulls out his phone. 2 taps. His screen fills with a video call. His head of security answers immediately. a man built like a wall with a scar bisecting his left eyebrow. Marcus, I need eyes on the 40th floor elevator. Now, the stranger's confidence cracks slightly. And Marcus? Cashin continues. The foreign investment group we were meeting with run full backgrounds, financial ties, criminal networks, offshore accounts. Everything. On it, Marcus replies. The man in the dark suit takes a step backward. His hand moves inside his jacket. Cashin tenses, but the stranger just pulls out a business card. Plain white. No name. Just a phone number in raised ink. When you reconsider, he says, placing the card on a nearby table, call this number. They're willing to forget today's misunderstanding. For price. Tell them the price just went up, Cashin responds. Add attempted intimidation to the list of charges. The man's jaw tightens. He glances once more at Marin, a look that makes Cashin's blood run cold, then turns toward the elevator. The doors close. Marin exhales shakily. They know where I work. They know more than that, Cashin mutters. He looks at her phone, still buzzing in her hand. How long until your son's appointment? 35 minutes. We won't make it in city traffic. I have to try. I'm not saying we won't go. Cashin heads toward the private elevator. The one that bypasses every floor and opens directly into the executive parking garage. I'm saying we're taking the route they won't expect. Marin follows him, heels clicking against marble. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. He jabs the elevator button harder than necessary. You saved my empire. The least I can do is make sure you get to your son safely. The elevator arrives. They step inside. Mirrors line the walls, multiplying their reflections into infinity. Cashin sees himself. Expensive suit, carefully groomed beard, tattoos hidden beneath designer fabric. Then he sees Marin. Uniform wrinkled now from tension, cap slightly askew, exhaustion carved into the lines around her eyes. Why didn't you tell me, he asks quietly, about your languages, your background? Marin watches the floor numbers descend. You didn't hire me for my languages, Mr. Rourke. You hired me because I passed a background check and needed work desperately enough to take any shift available. Your previous employer fired me. Her reflection meets his in the mirror. I reported a supervisor who was stealing wages from immigrant drivers. He made sure I'd never get a reference again. Said I was difficult to work with. Caused problems. Didn't understand workplace hierarchy. Cashin's hands curl into fists. So I took what I could get, Marin continues. A driver position, night shifts, weekend coverage, anything that paid enough to cover Tillian's medical bills. Tillian, Cashin repeats softly. Your son, 8 years old, congenital heart defect. Surgery scheduled for next month if we can afford the copay. Her voice stays steady, but her hands shake. Today's consultation determines if he's strong enough for the procedure. The elevator reaches the parking garage. St. Mary's Hospital looms ahead through clearing rain. White concrete, glass windows reflecting storm clouds. Ambulances lined up like soldiers at the emergency entrance. Cashin pulls into a loading zone, cuts the engine. Marin already has her door open before the car fully stops. Wait. He grabs her wrist. She jerks away. My son. I know. His voice drops. Controlled. Which is why you don't run in blind. Think. If they wanted Tillian hurt, he'd already be hurt. This is leverage. They want you scared. Want you doubting whether truth is worth the cost. Marin's breathing comes fast. Shallow. Her white gloves are gone now. Bare hands trembling. How do you know what they want? Because it's what my family did. Before everything went legitimate. The words taste like copper. Psychological warfare costs less than actual violence. Make people question themselves. Make them break from the inside. Thunder rolls overhead. A nurse rushes past into the hospital, coat flapping. Marin wipes her eyes with shaking fingers. What do? We go inside. Together. Find Tillian. Make sure whoever sent that text understands they picked the wrong family. Cashin steps out of the car. Stay with me. Don't separate. The automatic doors slide open. Fluorescent brightness. Antiseptic smell. Activity everywhere. Families waiting. Doctors walking purposefully. Children crying in their parents' arms. Cashin approaches the information desk. Pediatric cardiac unit. Tillian Kessler. The volunteer types rapidly. Room 412. 4th floor, East Wing. We're family. Cashin cuts her off with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Emergency. They cross the lobby fast. Marin's heels click against linoleum. Her breath comes too quick. Panic building behind her eyes. Breathe, Cashin says quietly while they wait for the elevator. In through your nose. 4 counts. Out through your mouth. 4 counts. I can't. You can. His voice drops to boardroom authority. You exposed billions in fraud today. You spoke 7 languages without hesitation. You can handle this. The elevator dings. Opens. Marin closes her eyes. Breathes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. 4th floor arrives. Blue walls meant to calm. Room numbers passing. 402, 406, 410. Room 412. Door partially open. Marin moves forward. Cashin catches her shoulder. Let me check first. He pushes the door wider. Small room. Dim. Monitors beeping steadily. A boy in the bed near the window. Dark curls on white pillows. Oxygen cannula beneath his nose. Small chest rising and falling with careful rhythm. Tillian. So small. So fragile. A man sits beside the bed. Dark suit. Hands folded. Watching the boy sleep. Not a doctor. Not a nurse. Cashin's blood freezes. The man looks up. Smiles. Mr. Rourke. Ms. Kessler. Glad you could join us. He's older. Softer around the edges. Wire-rimmed glasses. Thinning hair. He looks like someone's accountant, which makes him more dangerous. Who are you? Cashin's hand moves toward his phone. I wouldn't. The man gestures toward Tillian. He's sleeping peacefully. Let's not disturb him with security calls. Marin takes a step toward her son. The man shifts, just enough to block her path without appearing aggressive. What do you want? Her voice shakes. Clarity. He adjusts his glasses. This afternoon ended with misunderstandings. My employers believe MS. Kessler may have misheard certain terms. Language can be tricky. Nuance gets lost. I didn't mishear anything. Are you certain? He pulls a tablet from his briefcase. Swipes through documents. Our legal team says the contracts were perfectly legitimate. Standard investment language. Nothing fraudulent. He looks up. If you testify that you made an error, that perhaps your language skills aren't as fluent as you believed, this could all be resolved. Resolved. Cashin steps forward. You broke into my employee's son's hospital room to discuss resolution? I didn't break in. The man taps a visitor badge on his jacket. I'm listed as family friend. Amazing what paperwork accomplishes. Tillian stirs. His small hand moves against sheets, reaching for something that isn't there. Marin's breath catches. Sign this. The man produces a single paper. A retraction. Acknowledge that stress compromised your translation accuracy. No harm. Your son gets his surgery. You keep your job. Everyone walks away happy. And if I don't? Marin asks. The man's smile doesn't change. Then things get complicated. Hospital bills are expensive. Heart surgeries especially. Insurance can be difficult. Prior authorizations, coverage denials, appeals that take months. Would be tragic if Tillian's procedure got delayed over paperwork. Cashin moves. 3 steps. Close enough to smell the man's cologne. Leave. Now. I'm having a conversation. You're trespassing in a pediatric cardiac unit. Threatening a child's medical care. About to discover why my family's reputation never fully died. Cashin leans in. Close. I know 16 ways to destroy someone without touching them. I know which regulatory bodies investigate medical fraud. Which journalists love stories about corporate intimidation. How to make sure your employers spend the next decade in courtrooms. The man's smile falters. Touch this woman or her son again. Cashin continues quietly. And I'll make sure everyone knows you threatened a child recovering from heart surgery. See how that plays in the press. The man stands. Slowly. Picks up his briefcase. Smooths his jacket. This isn't over. Yes, Cashin replies. It is. The man walks to the door. Pauses. Looks back at Marin. You're making a mistake. No. Marin's voice steadies. I'm protecting my son. There's no mistake in that. He leaves. Footsteps fading. Silence except for Tillian's heart monitor beeping steadily. Marin rushes to the bed, takes her son's hand carefully, avoiding the foreline. Tears finally fall, streaking her cheeks. Baby, Mama's here. I'm so sorry I was late. Tillian's eyes flutter open, dark like his mother's. Tired but alert. Mama, I'm here. A man was here. Said he was Uncle Marcus. But I don't have an Uncle Marcus. His voice sounds so small. I told him strangers aren't allowed. Like you taught me. Marin sobs once. You did exactly right, baby. So right. Cashin stands by the window, giving them space. His phone vibrates. He checks it. Unknown number. New message. He expects another threat. Instead, 3 words that change everything. She recorded everything. Attached, an audio file. Cashin plays it low. Marin's voice fills his ear, speaking those same languages from the boardroom, but narrating. Translating in real time. Creating a record of every fraudulent clause, every manipulated term, every lie. She really did record it. When Cashin whispers, Marin looks up from Tillian's bedside. Her eyes meet his. The moment they started switching languages. I turn on my phone's voice recorder. Everything they said, everything I translated, it's documented. You brilliant. Cashin stops himself. Looks at Tillian, watching them with curious, tired eyes. You amazing person. Marin smiles weakly. He walks out before she can argue. The hallway stretches both directions, fluorescent lights humming, nurses moving between rooms, distant monitor beeps. Cashin takes the stairs instead of the elevator. Old paranoia. Elevators are traps. Stairs give options. Second floor landing. He hears footsteps below him. Quick, deliberate. He stops, listens. The footsteps stop too. He continues down. Slower now, hands sliding into his pocket where he keeps a tactical pen. First floor. He pushes through the stairwell door. A woman in a nurse's uniform stands between him and the cafeteria. Too polished. Makeup too perfect. Posture too rigid. Another fake. Excuse me, she says. Are you Cashin Rourke? He doesn't answer, just watches her hands. I have a message from my employers. She pulls out an envelope. White. Unmarked. They wanted me to deliver this personally. Your employers can email. They prefer the personal touch. She extends the envelope. Please. Just read it. Cashin takes it. Doesn't open it yet. Who do you work for? People who believe today was a misunderstanding. Who want to resolve things peacefully. Her smile is rehearsed. Empty. People who recognize sometimes the best solution benefits everyone. Tell your people, I'm not interested in solutions that require threatening children. No one threatened. Room 412. Fake doctor. Fake consultation. Don't insult my intelligence. The woman's smile fades. Mr. Rourke, you're a businessman. You understand leverage. Negotiation. Surely we can find common ground. Common ground. Cashin steps closer. Your people try to steal billions from me. They threaten my employee. They endangered a sick child. Where's the common ground? Your employee misunderstood. She understood perfectly. In 7 languages. The woman's jaw tightens. Read the letter, Mr. Rourke. Before you make decisions you'll regret. She walks away. High heels clicking. Gone before Cashin can respond. He looks at the envelope. Heavy paper. Expensive. Inside, a single photograph. Marin. Yesterday. Leaving her apartment building with Tillian. The boy laughing. Wearing a backpack shaped like a dinosaur. Marin's arm around his shoulders. Someone was watching them. On the back, handwritten in elegant script. Every mother wants her son to grow up safe. We can guarantee that. Can you? Cashin's blood turns to ice. This isn't intimidation anymore. This is war. Cashin pulls out his phone. Calls Marcus. I need footage from Marin's apartment building. Yesterday. Find who took surveillance photos of her and her son. On it. Boss, what's happening? They're escalating. Cashin stares at the photograph. They think I'll back down if they make the threat personal enough. Will you? The question hangs. Cashin thinks about Marin. Quiet, competent, fierce. About Tillian, small, fragile, trusting. About the empire he built trying to distance himself from his family's violent past. "No," he says quietly. "I won't back down. Marcus, we need to move Marin and Tillian somewhere secure. Tonight, before these people realize I'm not negotiating." "Where?" "My penthouse. 42nd floor. Triple security. Camera coverage on every entrance. Nobody gets in without my authorization. Boss, that's your private residence." "I'm aware." Cashin heads back toward the stairs. "Right now, it's the safest place in the city for a woman who saved my empire and a kid who needs to survive long enough to have his heart fixed." He climbs stairs 2 at a time. The photograph burns in his pocket like evidence of every mistake he made today. Room 412. He pushes through the door. Marin looks up from Tillian's bedside. "Did you find food? We need to leave. Now." Her face pales. "What happened?" He shows her the photograph. Marin's hand flies to her mouth. Her eyes fill with tears she won't let fall. "They were at our apartment yesterday, which means they've been watching longer than we thought." "Mama." Tillian's voice is small. Scared. "What's wrong?" Marin wipes her eyes quickly. Smiles. "Nothing, baby. We're going somewhere safer for a little while. Like a sleepover." Exactly like that. She looks at Cashin. "Where?" "My place. Security. Protection. No one gets near you without going through me first. DR." Keisha returns with discharge papers. "Everything okay?" "We're moving Tillian," Marin says. "Somewhere with better security." Dr. Keisha doesn't question it, just nods. He's stable enough for transport. Keep his oxygen on. Monitor his levels. Any changes bring him straight back. 20 minutes later, they're in Cashin's sedan. Tillian sits in back, portable oxygen tank beside him, eyes wide with exhaustion and confusion. Marin sits next to him, hand never leaving his. Cashin drives. Rain has stopped, but streets are still slick, reflecting headlights in fractured patterns. "Why are you doing this?" Marin asks quietly. Cashin watches the road. "Because I can." That's not an answer. He's silent for a moment. "My father used to say power is only worth having if you use it to protect people who can't protect themselves. Then he spent 30 years using his power to hurt those same people. I swore I'd be different, that I'd use what I inherited to build something better. Today, you reminded me what that looks like. I just translated some contracts. You exposed multi-billion-dollar fraud. You saved me from financial ruin. You did it without asking for anything." He glances at her in the rearview mirror. "And when they threatened you, you didn't back down. That's not just translating. That's courage." Marin's reflection looks away. "My mother had courage. It got her killed. Your mother had courage without protection," Cashin corrects. "You have both." Tillian shifts in a seat. "Mr. Rourke?" "Yeah, kid. Are you a superhero?" Cashin laughs. The sound surprises him. "No, just someone who made enough mistakes to know better now." "That's what superheroes are," Tillian says. "People who know better." From the mouths of children. Cashin's penthouse tower rises ahead, glass and steel reaching toward clouds. Underground garage entrance requires keycard, code, and facial recognition. 3 security layers before the car stops. Marcus waits by the private elevator. Ex-military, built like a wall, scar bisecting his left eyebrow. He nods at Cashin. Penthouse is secure. 2 guards on the lobby. 1 on garage. Cameras active. Good. Cashin helps Marin get Tillian out. The boy leans heavily against his mother, exhaustion written everywhere. The elevator ride is silent. 60 seconds climbing 42 floors. Tillian's breathing sounds loud in enclosed space. Quick, shallow, struggling slightly despite oxygen. "Almost there, baby," Marin whispers. Doors open directly into Cashin's penthouse. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the city. Minimalist furniture. Expensive art. A space designed for someone who lives alone. Until tonight. Guest room is through there, Cashin points. King bed. Private bathroom. Marcus will bring up a cot for Tillian. "This is too much," Marin says. "It's not enough." Cashin watches Tillian take in the view. "Get him settled. I'll order food." Marin guides Tillian toward the guest room. The boy turns back once. "Thank you," Tillian says. Cashin's throat tightens. "You're welcome, kid." They disappear. Door closes softly. Cashin stands alone in his penthouse. Fortress he built to keep people out, realizing it just became sanctuary for two people he barely knows but would die protecting. His phone vibrates. "Marcus." Footage from Marin's apartment. "You need to see this." Cashin opens the attached video. Black and white. Timestamp from yesterday afternoon. A man in a baseball cap stands across from Marin's building, watching, waiting. Then Marin emerges with Tillian. The man raises a camera, clicks several photos, but what happens next makes Cashin's blood freeze. The man pulls out his phone, makes a call. The camera angle shifts, showing his face clearly. Cashin recognizes him immediately. One of his own security team. Someone he trusted. Someone with access to personnel files, schedules, addresses. They leave. The door clicks shut. The boardroom feels suddenly massive, echoing with rain and shallow breathing. Security rushes in 40 seconds too late, radios crackling. Cashin waves them off without looking. Marin stands perfectly still. Her white gloves tremble. The torn seam on her right thumb expands another centimeter. Cashin turns to face her. For the first time in a decade, he doesn't know what to say.